So iPadOS 15 just came out, and I'm gonna go over what I like, what I don't like about it, and how it affects me as a student using my iPad Pro every day. When I first saw iPadOS 15 at WWDC a few months ago, that's what really convinced me to get the iPad because it brought a bunch of new features that I was really wanting on a tablet, and it just seemed like it made the iPad so much more worth it than any other tablet on the market. So the first and biggest change that I love the most on iPadOS 15, which is also an iOS 15 feature by the way, is the new focus modes. The focus modes are great for just like making sure that you have certain apps that are open or certain home pages that you want to see. I've always wanted this so that I can just have multiple home pages and only choose to see a few of them at a time. So this is perfect for that. I've actually been really wanting like some kind of focus mode idea or something since Do Not Disturb came out a long time ago, and I've been waiting for it ever since, so this is like probably the biggest thing to me that I've been looking forward to for a really long time. I have focus modes for working out, I have focus modes for studying, I have focus modes automated to turn on when I'm in class, all kinds of stuff, so there's focus modes for everything every single day of my life, and I don't think I ever have a focus mode off now. I just always have some automation that turns one on and off by whenever I go somewhere. Being able to just choose different home screens to see at different times during the day is so great, and it just like limits the distractions that iPads really give, because in the end an iPad is like mainly a media consumption device for most people, and so being able to limit that by turning on focus modes and just like completely ignoring other home pages that have nothing to do with your productivity or schoolwork is pretty dope. It's a pretty good thing to do, so focus modes are amazing and probably the biggest and best change I think that has happened in iPadOS 15. The next change that is super amazing that I really like too is the Quick Notes feature on Apple Notes. So Apple Notes has slowly been gaining momentum and traction that it's becoming a full-fledged note-taking app pretty soon now, but I don't think it can really compare to OneNote or Notion or any of the other big note-taking apps that you would use normally. But now with Quick Notes, I'm definitely going to be using Apple Notes a lot more than I used to, because it is just so convenient to just swipe up with Apple Pencil from the bottom right corner and start taking a little note that'll save and sync across all your Apple devices. This is perfect because I'm consistently always just trying to like work on something and then something pops in my head and I want to write it down, and then instead of like switching to the different notes app and then like writing and typing it all down and then interrupting my workflow, I can easily just pull up a quick note, write it down real quickly with my Apple Pencil, and then boom, it's done. I can go back to what I was doing before, which is amazing. I really love these Quick Notes features, and I'm definitely going to be using them for like the rest of my time using an iPad, and forever probably. Now one of the best changes that they've made to iPadOS 15 is multitasking. Multitasking is so much easier now. At the top there's always going to be like these three little dots in the little top bar that shows like the date and time and everything. That is just wasted space, honestly. So they just put the dots there because there's nothing else to fit in there anyway. So the dots are there, you can put split view modes on, and you can put apps side by side on each other. This makes multitasking so much easier and so much more convenient than like pulling up an app or pulling up the dock and then dragging an app over. You can just do one button, one click, and it's there. So I do find myself using multitasking a lot more than I used to now because it's just so much more convenient. And this is probably what's really good with the iPad, because on my laptop I would always have multiple tabs open, multiple things open, doing things side by side and like referencing to certain things. So now it's a lot easier to do that on the iPad as well. And that's really good for students because you can be having your lecture notes on one side and your own notes on one side, or you can be having like a website you're trying to reference and your essay on the other side. Whatever it is, students are always multitasking like this, so it's a big bonus to have this multitasking feature just be so much more convenient. Now there's a bunch of other small improvements to iPadOS 15, but those are the main ones that I think really help students a lot more than any of the other features. There's also an updated Safari, and iPadOS 15 also brings an updated version of the Safari browser. It also brings in widgets on the home screen, which are actually pretty cool. I like them on the iPad Pro because it's a big screen, so it has more information on it. And there's also better management of notifications, even though on my iPad I have all notifications turned off anyway, but having more notification management might be good for you. And now that iPadOS 15 is out, the The iPad really is the best companion for students for like note-taking, the best tablet for note-taking by far. The Surface Pro has been lacking behind in technology for a while now, so the iPad is just like leaping forward super far with the technology, with the advancements that they're making, and everything else, the app ecosystem and everything, that it is a no-brainer for students who can afford it to get it. Now, I would never recommend an iPad as your main device for a college student, especially for STEM majors, because you're gonna run into like certain softwares or like programming languages that just will not work on an iPad. So for students, I would highly recommend you just get a laptop in general. Just either a Windows or Mac laptop, doesn't really matter. The M1 MacBook Air is really great for students right now. But whatever your preference is, Windows or Mac, it doesn't really matter. But the iPad is a very good secondary device, especially if you have a MacBook as well. Or maybe you have an older laptop and you're looking to upgrade. Maybe instead of upgrading your laptop, get an iPad so that you have your laptop as your backup device, but you can use the iPad for your daily essentials. Everyone's circumstance is different, so it's hard to tell whether the iPad will fit you or not, but I can tell you that it's working for me pretty well, except I cannot rely on it to be my main and only computer yet. I would recommend to a lot of people to just get like either the iPad 8 or the iPad mini and save some money, and then just use that as your note-taking device, and then use your laptop as your like programming, coding, software development device. But don't get me wrong, the iPad is still amazing for note-taking, and it is probably the best companion device for students to have, especially if you want to go digital. So that's my review of iPadOS 15. It's amazing and gives so many good features to the iPad that I've been looking forward to for a really long time. But it's still limiting the iPad so it doesn't reach its full potential, and I still have to rely on a secondary laptop to get a lot of things done. So the iPad cannot be my main device still. Alright, so thanks for watching the video. Like if you enjoyed it, and hit subscribe for more videos in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye.